it's time for the Baldo ham. How do I even begin this? There's two parts to this. First, there's an interesting matter of public record, which has again dropped. And this is another transcript from the Child Protective Services case that Rekieta is involved in. And I'll just read the synopsis here from Autistic Right again. Miss Barber, who is one of the Health and Human Services employee, believes that the children cannot be returned to their home because it is unsafe as of June 6th. She states that allowing the grandparents to move into Rekieta's Coombe dungeon is a, quote, creative solution, though licensing might be complicated and the grandparents need substance awareness training. They don't know how the drugs got into Baldo's home and how the child tested positive. Baldo was cooperative and attending to the home visit with Miss Barber. She was able to enter the Coombe den, the master bedroom, and she was had a peek at the master bathroom and stated that there was a pug being kept there. So for whatever reason, their pet pug named Sunny is kept in the bathroom. She says that constant usage assessments that return negative results will expedite the reunification process, but as we discussed during the Boss Man Jack segment, Rekieta is unable to produce those apparently. Rekieta's side filed that they would prefer custody, I think in this order. A, the kids just return home. B, the kids move in with the grandparents. 3, unsupervised visits overnight with the parents. And 4, similar to 3, but with the supervision of the grandparents, or 5, some other arrangement. They are trying desperately to suppress the hair follicle test of the 9-year-old testing positive for cocaine metabolites. They actually accuse Miss Barber. Miss Barber's not Health and Human Services. She's a guardian ad litem, which is a fancy term for someone who acts in the interest of the child who is not directly from the government. So this was a person who volunteers for this, usually undergoes some kind of training, and then will interact with the children and talk to them on behalf of the court to try and make a determination in their interest and represent what they believe is best and what the children have told them, and so on and so forth. And part of the reason why they're pissed off that the guardian ad litem, Miss Barber, should be dismissed is that she accessed the hair follicle test results. So she's trying to assess what to do with the kids, and in the process of doing that, obtain the results of the chromatography proving that there were cocaine metabolites in her hair. And they're saying that somehow predisposes her to harsher considerations about Rekieta, even though it doesn't seem to be the case. They moved to suppress public access to the case because Rekieta is a public figure. And they bitched about releases of other documents. Baldo and Rekieta, the wife, want the following: records pertaining to the hair follicle test, Omega Laboratory instrument printouts of chromatograms. Now, this is a weird one. I don't know what the chromatogram is. I think that he means the chromiograph. I'm not sure what they're asking for. I don't know if it's a thing. The controls, the operating procedure. They basically are trying everything they can to find out how to get this evidence dismissed for being inaccurate. I don't know if that's going to work out for them, though. Now, I should explain that after Tuesday, someone told me in the Rekieta thread, just threw out there, it says, Josh, you're probably not going to get the body cam footage. Now, I don't like being told that I can't do something, especially when I really, 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 really want something. So when he said this, I decided to actually personally review the statutes regarding the Minnesota release of body cam footage. And I found a very interesting point that I believe might allow us to get some of the body cam footage because we very strictly meet the criteria. Effectively, the sheriff's office of Candy, Ojai County is at liberty to release body cam footage to dispel rumors, which is not a very high bar to meet. There simply has to mean that there is a widespread rumor which can be dispelled to the benefit of public trust in law enforcement by the release of the body cam footage. And this is a very different burden than other burdens because, number one, we don't have to actually have Rekieta consenting to anything or saying anything too stupid himself. As long as there is a rumor to be dispelled that would be benefited by the release of the body cam footage, then we can try to justify it through that angle. And to our benefit, Rekieta has been not saying too much publicly about the police or the Health and Human Services, especially when it comes to the date of the search. But Rekieta has been in the ear of other people, notably Robert Barnes, who was an attorney on the Rittenhouse trial, Viva Fry, a YouTuber with over 600,000 subscribers, Camelot, another YouTuber, even Ethan Ralph, because these people all have stated repeatedly that there is corruption in Candy, Ojai County. Viva Fry went out and said that the search was, and Robert Barnes said that the search was in parts instigated by a probable cause warrant that shouldn't have been allowed, but was allowed because, as Viva Fry said, that Nick Rekieta was the most vocal critic of the local government and what he called that corrupt shithole. And so they went after him, and they went after him in apparently the dirtiest way possible by going after his kids. And these are things that have been repeated or heavily implied by Rekieta himself. There's clips on the Chrissy Meyer show where he's talking about how, you would be surprised what you have in your house, implying that he didn't know that he had cocaine, or that, and Chrissy Meyer immediately asked, because it's the obvious implication that the police, or that Nick even said something about you don't know what police might bring into your house, very obviously implying and insinuating that the police of the county brought cocaine into his home. Chrissy Meyer actually asked immediately, because that's the obvious second follow-up question, like, are you saying that that's what happened? And then Rekieta says no, but that's the thing, is like he's creating this thought that there is malfeasance, there is wrongdoing, and people are believing it. Chrissy Meyer immediately suspects that the police his friend suspects that police brought drugs into the house. Robert Barnes talks about the corruption. Viva Fry says that it's a corrupt shithole and they're going after him. His friend Camelot is indicating that the police force did something wrong and that the warrant was unjust. And if you were looking at this from a neutral perspective, if you weren't me and you weren't someone who knew who Rekieta was, but you knew that this guy was getting eaten by the system, was having his kids taken away from him, was facing 25 years for a very serious possession charge, and you were hearing all these associates around him making this claim that the police were up to something, that Health and Human Services was lying under oath, then you would think that this was an innocent man telling anybody who he could trust in private that he is a victim, and he was trying to scream as loud as he possibly could in a way that wouldn't cause retribution, because they got his kids and they can go after him. They have that leverage over him. If you didn't know Rekieta, and if you didn't know, and if you weren't me, and you were just trying to assess the facts and what people are saying, you would assume that he was desperately trying to get someone to listen to him about how he was being treated, and he was just afraid to do so in public. That's how it would look like to me. So, I genuinely, with no extension of the truth, no backward justification, it's very obvious that he has created a rumor that can be addressed. And the question is, can that be the question then is not that if there's a rumor about an interest of public trust. The question is there a rumor that can be dispelled by the body cam footage? Which we're coincidentally after anyways, right? Well, yes, because Robert Barnes names in particular a specific cop who he claims did something wrong. And there's a clip of this, and I'll pull it up if I have to. But he names a cop specifically who happens to be there on the day of. And it's like, we don't need dozens of hours of footage from every which way. But we know that there's a specific cop who was there executing the search warrant who has been accused by people directly associated with Nick Rekieta of doing something wrong. So how about this? Let's see the footage from that one badge cam, and let's see the footage of everybody in the master bedroom where the cocaine was found. Because if there's anybody planting cocaine with all those cops there, we should be able to see it. And if that one cop was doing anything wrong, then his badge cam would show it. And that way, there's a middle ground. You're not releasing everything. You can censor out all the kids. It's just one cop, one area of the house of interest to the public. And that was my post. So I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. I don't feel like I said anything wrong. I'm not lying. I'm not being deceitful. That is genuinely the facts of the situation in a way that the county can meet me halfway and provide information to dispel a rumor, as indicated by statute. And Rekieta's response to this, despite being someone who really does proclaim that he is up against an unfair system, immediately contacted me my signal. And when he does this, I usually just paraphrase him, because I figure the reason why he's addressing me in private is that he wants me to pass along a message to the Kiwi Farms, but at the same time, I don't want to copy his words word for word, because then it's like we have a time limit on our messages. So it's like if I quote him directly, that might get him into trouble. So I am, when I paraphrase him, I'm not trying to cause him any harm. I'm trying to pass along his message, and at the same time create an air gap where nothing he's saying about his case can be used against him. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to misrepresent what he says. I'm genuinely trying to help him accomplish his goal while minimizing his risk, which is something that I do a lot. If someone has a message for my forum and I want to post it and talk about it, I'll have them message me. We'll discuss what they want to talk about. I will create a summary of it, and then I'll publish the summary. And then I'll say, I know that this is true. I can't show you how I know this is true, but I generally don't lie about things. And I hope that you'll trust me when I say that I looked at this and I was very convinced, and this is what I saw. And that's a roundabout way that I have used over years to allow people who want to be whistleblowers but limit their own exposure do so more safely. And I'm simply extending that same courtesy to Rekieta. But I think he got pissed off because what happened is, when I summarized this set of messages, I said that he wished me luck and he dared me to find rumor mongering that would implicate the police in wrongdoing, especially in regards to the search warrant. And I say that he dared me because he basically says, like he said very flippantly, please go find this video.